Good morning. Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Matthew Alvarez, and this is the road to 47. As you guys know, it's only been 9 days since President Trump became President-elect Donald Trump, 45 becoming 47. So we have a lot of coverage leading up to inauguration on January 20th, 2025. As you see the picture of the beautiful 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House there, as President Trump gears up to be the commander-in-chief. You know, he's been obviously very busy with a lot of cabinet picks, a lot of administrative appointments. We'll get into that a little bit later. But man, 9 days and already a tour to the White House yesterday, speaking to Congress, some in the Senate as well. And then, of course, Trump Force One, you know, that will be transitioning from Trump Force One. Then he'll be boarding a different plane coming up. And about 67 days from now, that is when January 20th is. So it's only 67 days. And I remember us doing a countdown here at Right Side with all of our great RSBN hosts, all of the awesome rallies, counting down to Election Day. And the fork in the road, we made the right turn. So speaking of road to 47, you saw that intro there, making the right turn toward Washington, D.C. So we have a lot in store on this program here. This will air on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So welcome to the show. I'm Matthew Alvarez, and we'll be, of course, speaking to a number of great people here at Right Side Broadcasting Network as we approach the big week and the big day, January 20th. I mean, think about all of the inaugural balls even at night after the huge oath of office and the swearing in of President Trump. And by then, we'll have a full cabinet and administrative appointments already selected that President Trump and his team have been doing. Again, you know, you look at a number of people there. I have a full list, of course. I know you guys have been tracking at home of all of the great patriots that are being put into these great, powerful positions. There are around, I think it's 22 to 24 cabinet positions. There are a lot of other positions to be filled as well. So a lot going on as we are on the road to 47. So coming up in this program, we will be speaking with Carla Sands at the America First Policy Institute. We'll also sit down with Louis Gregory, who is a former director at the Customs and Border Protection under the Department of Homeland Security. We'll hear his take on the great pick of Kristi Noem as the Secretary of DHS. We also have a kind of fun interview, an exclusive interview with Hulk Hogan, of all people. Hulk Hogan, of course, being at Madison Square Garden pretty recently, and then at the RNC over the summer. He's out there selling his Real American beer. So we caught up with him in Alabama recently, so we'll have that interview as well. Also, there are a number of other things going on when President Trump, of course, is working on picking the great patriots into the cabinet and other administrative positions. We know that at Mar-a-Lago there are various events, and we also have exclusive video that we'll show you here shortly of last night where the most famous man in the world and the world's most wealthy guy, Elon Musk, of course, is joined by Christopher Macchio, the opera singer. So we'll have a little bit of that taste of Mar-a-Lago just from last night as there was an event there. So a lot to get to, including a possible interview with Pastor Mark Burns, who is working hard on the inaugural balls and that kind of thing. He's a chairman of one of them. And I would also get his reaction on the huge trifecta win for President Trump just 9 days ago. Can you believe it? He won the electoral vote, the popular vote, the House, the Senate. We already have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. So that's quite awesome. All right, so a lot of this broadcast will be brought to you by, of course, later we'll show you My Pillow, but also if you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network, all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801. So if you text RSBN to 801-801, all of the lights, the camera, the travel that you guys have seen over the years, you think about the past 9 years, of course, it'll be great to see what's in store here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. But also, if you'd like to donate, all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801. After being sworn in as the 45th president, Donald Trump said in his first inaugural address in 2017, quote, "This isn't a transfer of power from one administration to another or from one party to another. This is a transfer of power from Washington, D.C., back to you, the people, where it belongs." And the crowd erupted in cheers and applause back in 2017. I posted that on my Truth Social recently, because those are the moments that you see that someone is a man of his word and a man of action, reflecting those words as he did during those first 4 years of his administration. And then, of course, coming up now, those 20 promises that you've heard myself and Bobby McNeely and others at RSBN speak about, the promises from the GOP, which is in turn Agenda 47, from sealing the border to defending the Constitution to securing our elections. So many great things happening for our country. So we're going in the right direction. Can you believe it? I mean, it was quite the night of election coverage here. As you may have seen, more than 5 million views across social media platforms, including on the great Rumble and YouTube and all around. A lot of people tuned into that. Of course, Christina Loren, myself, and Bobby McNeely for that election coverage just 9 days ago. Man, it's felt like a year ago at this point because of the amount of work that President Trump has gotten done already. Let's look at just some of those real quick, some of the Trump cabinet picks before we get to a possible interview. I believe Pastor Mark Burns will be joining us soon. But on top of that, we'll get to Carla Sands and Louis Gregory, that Mar-a-Lago exclusive that we have, and the Hulk Hogan exclusive. Just literally the other day found out that Hulk Hogan was in the Auburn, Alabama area, and we caught up with him. So that interview is upcoming. But let's get to some of these great picks from President Trump. We know there are still a number of picks to be filled yet. I mean, we don't know who the Secretary of the Treasury or Interior or Agriculture, Commerce, Labor, Health and Human Services. We have an idea who that will be. How about the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development? Also a possible idea there. How about Secretary of Transportation and Energy? So there's a lot of work to be done. But of course, already Pete Hegseth, the DOD, the Department of Defense, Secretary of Defense will be Pete Hegseth. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. How about the Special Envoy to the Middle East, Stephen Witkoff? The Director of the CIA, former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe. The Border Czar, the great Tom Homan. He's somebody that's going to take care of business, as will President Trump, J.D. Vance, and this team. The White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. Ambassador to the UN, Elise Stefanik. Administrator of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, Lee Zeldin out of New York. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. And we'll be discussing that with Louis Gregory, who, again, was a director to Customs and Border Protection within the Department of Homeland Security. He'll give us his take on that great pick of Kristi Noem, and also some inside baseball when it comes to what some of the agents are actually saying down there on the border, things that he's heard over the years. We'll hear some more of that in just a bit. So we know President-elect Donald Trump has a number of cabinet picks that I believe maybe today, tomorrow, and through the next 67 days. I know it's the road to 47, but we have 67 days until that countdown to Inauguration Day on January 20th, 2025. So we'll be hearing more from a number of great people here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. So if you'd like to follow Right Side on Truth Social, it's at RSBN. Last check, I think it's around 922,000 people. I remember on X, we're more than 1 million at this point. So it'll be great to see that 1 and capital M next to RSBN on Truth Social as well. So if you'd like to follow us on Truth Social, please do that. All right, so let's get to some more information that we have been learning throughout the past 9 days. Of course, we know the cabinet picks so far, the administrative picks. We know he scored the trifecta. He won the House, the Senate, the White House, of course, the popular vote as well. We also have that conservative majority in the Supreme Court. A lot of world leaders reacting to President Trump winning the White House. There was, I think it was maybe the day after the election, I posted on Truth Social, and I know you guys have seen it elsewhere too, on X. You've seen a number of great posts from world leaders, from Bolsonaro to the Netherlands leader. There's so many people. I can go to the list right now. I think I picked out about 16, 17 nations of people that are saying, thank God, basically, that President Trump is in office. We want to work with him. There were some of these leaders that were wearing MAGA hats. I mean, this is wild to see the free world getting a win with that election just 9 days ago. We know that will the left-wing leadership right now, will they just roll over? Who knows? But the point is, right now, you're seeing a lot of backing off, and we're seeing a lot of strength moving forward, peace through strength under President Trump. Okay, so it's 11:11 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's get ready to go to that exclusive video out of Mar-a-Lago from just last night. So Christopher Macchio, if you guys watched the show before, we got to interview him a few times. And I remember Harrison Fields and Megan Kohler, if you remember just at Election Day coverage. If you missed that, it's on Rumble as well if you just want to rewatch some of it. Just a great night with Bobby and Christina here and everybody at Right Side. But the other day, Christopher Macchio, the opera singer that's always basically at every President Trump event, well, he was at Mar-a-Lago last night. I believe the America First Policy Institute had an event there. Elon Musk was also in attendance. So Christopher is singing a song, and I believe he called up the most famous person in the world, the richest guy in the world, brought him up on stage, and then we got the exclusive video. So we'd love to show you that here in just a second. But then after that, we'll go right into our interviews with Carla Sands, Louis Gregory, Hulk Hogan, and then we'll be wrapping the broadcast for today. But of course, you can always stay up to date on political news, anything President Trump, anything America First, with Right Side Broadcasting Network online, whether it's on Truth Social, X, our website, rsbnetwork.com. We'll keep you up to date. And especially here at the studio, of course, we can go live and share with you any details, as President Trump has a lot to take care of. But man, has he been working hard, just as he has been his whole life, practically. All right, so let's go to Mar-a-Lago from last night. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Enjoy.
Hey Matthew, yes, thank you so much for having me on to discuss the amazing events at Mar-a-Lago last night. Christopher Macchio performed for President Trump, and what a tremendous moment it was when America's tenor called President Trump and Elon Musk to the stage to join him in a trio, and together they sang "God Bless America." I was very lucky to be stage right and capture the moment, and I'm glad you can share it with America.
And Carla Sands joins us right now, once again here on RSBN. First of all, thank you so much for joining us, but also the overall feeling of victory must be sweet.
Oh my gosh, Matthew, I hope that all of your viewers are really just taking this moment just to really thank God, first of all, for this victory. We couldn't do it without him. but also their hard work paid off, because I know so many people who watch you wrote the postcards, went and door knocked, did all the things that we needed to do in order to win.
Exactly. And then we won, and we won times 3, the trifecta. I mean, even times 4, the popular vote, the Electoral College, obviously, which is the White House, the Senate, the Congress. I mean, and we already have a conservative Supreme Court. This is looking very good for the American people right now.
This is everything that President Trump and his team are doing is putting the American people first. How can we benefit the American people, make their lives even greater? Because we've really been under an oppressive administration. What they've done has been, I would call it anti-American, the transing of children, the boys and girls sports, a lot of things that just common sense Americans reject. But Matthew, I would really like to also challenge your viewers and say, okay, President Trump and all of us have delivered this victory, right, for common sense America. It goes beyond party. But I think we have to double down and say, let's start thinking right now about holding the House. It's good. The math is going to get very tough in 2 years. But if we start now and we do what we just did, we can stop the Democrat takeover in 2 years, and we can give President Trump and J.D. Vance and this incredible A-team 4 years of making America great. How great is that? And stop the impeachments that they have promised to bring on him if they take the House. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And I think it's awesome that just days after, we're, less than 2 weeks after a win, that's where your mind is, which is great, because that leads me to my next point of America First Policy Institute and your guys' connections, with President Trump as well. So how will that play into a win in 2026 then?
Well, and I was just on a panel today with Ashley Hayek and our team at America First Works, which is the C4 arm of AFPI. And so how we did it with data-driven information and reaching out to people wherever they are, right? Meeting their needs and talking about what they were looking for, how their lives can be better. And we delivered that victory working in not just the swing states. President Trump went to California. We have a California state chapter, AFPI does, in California. Every state matters. And so if we can begin to engage now, I mean, get your sleep, rest up, get invigorated. Maybe you take a couple weeks, but then let's hit the ground and purpose that President Trump gets 4 years to implement his great agenda, which if you're reading on social media, what he's promising us to stop the indoctrination of our kids, to take DEI out of our institutions, to take down the education department, which has failed at its mission set. American schools have gone from number 1 to being in the double-digit bottom. So he's going to make education great for our kids. He's going to make us safe again. He's going to end the wars. He's going to secure our border. People are going to have more money in their pockets a year from now than they do right now.
Exactly. And then all of the law and order and the safety and security and the border. And we know all of the things that are broken in our country, but that's why the people decided that we need President Trump back in there, that common sense leadership. And let's talk about some of the cabinet positions and also the administrative appointments that have been done. I mean, we have a Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary of State, a U.S. Ambassador to Israel. I mean, a lot of big names that we know in the conservative movement. So what's your 30,000-foot view on just all of the picks that the Trump team have made?
Well, some of them have surprised me. They really have. And you can see that he's thinking outside the box. I mean, Pete Hegseth is going to be he's not who you might think would be a great pick to be Secretary of Defense. But think about how well he communicates. President Trump is about to bring our military back to its core mission, which is a lethal fighting force, not a social experiment. Pete Hegseth will be able to tell that story really, really well. He's also an American patriot. And so I think that as the American people get used to these appointments, they're going to get excited about it. People around the world are watching social media to see who's coming on board next. When have you seen American politics be this fun?
Exactly. I mean, real American people want real American heroes, especially at the DOD there with Pete. So, I mean, that's one department. Of course, there are more secretaries to be announced as the week goes on. But Carla, just overall, though, I mean, it's been quite the week plus since the election. What was it like for you when you saw President Trump was named president-elect?
Matthew, I was so excited. And then the fact that he won the popular vote and has this gigantic mandate, when you think about what Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to do with this deep state bureaucracy, which is not working for the people anymore. Like maybe they did at one time, but not since I've been an adult has our bureaucracy really been working for the people. They've been working against the will of the people and spending so much money, and not in the way that we would spend it if we had control. They're giving the power back to the people. It's so exciting what we're going to see. And remember this, President Trump has told Elon Musk and Vivek, you have to be done with this by the time the America's 250th birthday comes around. So they have a fire lit behind them. I can't wait to see what comes next.
Yeah, I mean, that 250th birthday at the Iowa State Fairgrounds 2026, man, that's going to be wonderful. Carla, to your point about transferring the power when it comes to, it's not really from administration to administration or party to party. President Trump in 2017 at his inaugural address said, quote, this isn't a transfer of power from one administration to another or from one party to another. This is a transfer of power from Washington, D.C., back to the people. And they erupted with applause. And isn't it wonderful to see that he's still the same guy? That's what he still wants to do.
He's the same guy, but he also understands more the pieces of the puzzle to get it done. Before, he did not understand Washington, and his team didn't understand Washington like we do now. And after we have seen the lawfare, the attacks from every side, we understand what we're up against. And we have, I will just say it, we have on the armor of God, and we're going to do the right thing every time, even when it's not easy.
100%. Carla Sands, thank you so much for joining us here at RSBN. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Matthew.
And joining us right now is Louis Gregory. He's a former director with CBP under the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you so much for joining us here on Right Side.
Thank you for having me. And, you know, I was hooked on your network from the moment you and I met, and you had the footage about Christopher Macchio in that amazing interview. And I'm very excited to talk about U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. So can you talk to us about, all right, so we've got Kristi Noem being nominated with DHS. Can you just talk to us about the country as a whole and closing the southern border and some of your history as being a director for Customs and Border Protection?
Sure. First and foremost, I'm excited about the pick. And I think America should be excited, not just about the pick, but the fact that Mayorkas will no longer be in charge of the largest law enforcement agency in America. And it goes beyond, you know, the obvious. Everybody is hyper-focused on the border, but it's important to remember that there's so many other agencies, including the Secret Service, including FEMA, just, you know, a myriad of agencies under that DHS umbrella that was created by President Bush back in 2003. And man, one by one, Mayorkas has really destroyed each one of those agencies. So I'm excited to see a new secretary. I think she's exceptional. And I think that her experience in Congress and her experience as a governor really are going to help. And it's also important to realize that one of the things that Homeland Security does that a lot of people aren't aware of is they protect agriculture. And wow, is this the first time ever? I think it is, that we have a secretary who loves agriculture and understands the threats that are presented by not protecting our food sources.
Exactly. So there are many things to take care of under the Department of Homeland Security, but this time we know it's under somebody that has common sense leadership and will drain the swamp even within that department and all of the other departments within that department. So can you talk to us about the southern border and the deportation process? I mean, this is going to be quite wild. I know that's President Trump's plan, but for you working at CBP as a director, it's going to be quite the task, but it's got to get done.
Sure. And you know what? The onus is going to be on the men and women on America's front line, the ones that are protecting the border. And their morale has taken quite a beating under the current administration. You can go back and you could look at various different incidents where President Biden himself spoke out saying that Border Patrol agents were racist simply because they interdicted aliens that happened to be from Haiti, which had nothing to do with racism. It had to do with enforcing the Immigration and Naturalization Act, and the fact that some of them were horse patrol, so they were on horseback, so they called them racist because they were riding horses. So that kind of rhetoric has really damaged the personnel at U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and they've had to defend themselves, right? So when you're defending yourself from these baseless accusations, you're taking away your focus from your job, and your job is to protect the border, right? That's why it's called border protection. And if you have to let your guard down just for 1 second and get distracted, you can't do your job, let alone the fact that you have an administration that seems to be actively encouraging people to cross the border illegally in between ports of entry, which just puts us all at risk because we don't know who these people are. We don't know why they're coming. We always operate on the onus that, you know, there are good people out there, and a lot of the people coming to the United States are good. But as we know, it only takes one bad apple, right, to ruin the bunch. So we have to be able to tighten those measures that we use to curtail people from skirting the inspection sites and coming in without documentation. And I believe that we're going to get back to doing that. And like President Trump has said, his focus is closing the border and getting the criminals out of the country. So I'm all in favor of that. And I think our new secretary is going to be one of the very best ever. And when you look at the history of secretaries of Homeland Security, the public should not have to even know the names of these secretaries, right? Generally, when the public is like super focused on the name of the Secretary of Homeland Security, it's not for a good reason. And everybody knows Mayorkas's name, right? And I think that once our new secretary steps in, they're going to be referred to as the Secretary of Homeland Security because they're not going to be on the news all the time. They're going to be focused on getting the job done.
Exactly right. So finally, sir, can you tell us about the thought and feeling of the agents on the border that are actually going to be able to do their job?
They're excited. They feel like their training wheels are getting taken off again, and they were turned into processors rather than enforcement officers. Imagine going through this rigorous training, very similar to what the military goes through, being out in the field in these dangerous situations, and essentially having your ability to enforce the law taken away. And, you know, there's a joke amongst these folks that they have become processors rather than agents. And I think that they're just ecstatic. The morale is through the roof, and they're excited to get back to work. They're excited to be able to do the job that they signed up for, and they're excited to be able to protect America.
Louis Gregory, a former director with Customs and Border Protection under DHS. Sir, thank you so much. We'll have you on again soon.
Have a great day.
Can you believe Trump won? Everywhere I go, it's kind of like the attitude's lighter. People are happy.
USA! 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 We love Trump! We love Trump! We love Trump!
First of all, your thoughts about that big win for President Trump?
It's a great thing. I went to bed happy as ever after that great win by Trump. Super happy. Gas prices already down. So good to see. I paid $2.50 a gallon, been $2.90 a gallon. It's awesome.
Your thoughts on him being such a Trump supporter as well?
Hulk Hogan being a Trump supporter is like two of my big time fandoms coming together. Big Trump guy, big WWE guy, Hulk Hogan. Awesome.
USA.
USA. USA. USA.
USA! 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 USA!
Your thoughts about President Trump winning the White House, sir?
Well, I knew it was in God's hands, and thank God he won. I think the whole country, everywhere I've gone so far, I'm in Alabama now, and I was in Florida before I left. seems like a breath of fresh air. Like this dark cloud is lifted, everybody seems happy, everybody has a little bit of a spring in their step, and they know now that the majority of the people in the United States didn't want the wokeism. They wanted the parents to be aware of what was going on with their kids. They wanted the border check to make sure the people that are coming in here are quality people and they're vetted, and not that the money that people makes you happy, but it makes it easier. You know, they want to have enough money to feed their kids and also be able to feed themselves. They don't want to have to argue over bills and money. And everything that's going on with Trump, quality of life, God in our homes, schools, in our country, is right on track with this where this country not used to be, but where it should be. So there's joy. Talk about the party of joy. Well, guess what? We won.
Exactly. And then finally, just your thoughts about Right Side Broadcasting Network, conservative media out there reporting truth. We love people like you.
Well, at the end of the day, Right Side Broadcasting has taken the place of mainstream media, because mainstream media has an agenda. You know, big corporate, you know, the elites, above the elites, top of the food chain are running the agenda, the storyline they want to run over and over again. They browbeat people enough where you can say the sky's red, it's red, it's red, the sky's red. It's, oh, you know what, the sky looks a little red. So it's to the point where a company like yours, Right Side Media, they've taken the place because you guys tell the truth. They've stepped in and made this mainstream media like an old dinosaur now, because we know you don't get the truth from them. So with Right Side, you're always looking down the barrel, fastball of what is really going on. So that's why it's so important that you guys have stepped up and decided to tell the American public the truth.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that we're speaking to a bunch of people who, you know, want to be heard and, you know, deserve something that stands for them and stands for their values. And so, you know, we're here and we're meeting people and we're constantly hearing what they're saying. We're adapting our strategy. We're constantly, you know, we want to be a beer for the people. So, you know, so far it's been great.
Fight, 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 fight.
Always great to see Hulk Hogan in person. That was in Auburn, Alabama. Of course, he spoke at Madison Square Garden in New York and then in Milwaukee at the RNC over the summer. A great American patriot selling his real American beer. And speaking of products, mypillow.com, all sorts of great products there. And use RSBN as a promo code for some deep discounts. You get everything from coffee, the My Coffee, to a My Pillow. This is the Go Anywhere pillow. So great products on there at mypillow.com. That promo code is RSBN. And speaking of Right Side Broadcasting Network, if you'd like to donate to the network, all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801. So just RSBN to 801-801. All right, so our next show, Road to 47, airs on Thursday, November 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can catch that right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Also, our RSBN Economic Report will air right after today's broadcast, so you can click on that on a different link. For all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm Matthew Alvarez. Stay with Right Side Broadcasting Network for your latest news online and on our social media platforms as well.
It's Silk from Diamond and Silk. Don't forget to catch the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show right here on RSBN. That's right, RSBN. Now that's Right Side Broadcasting Network. Okay? See y'all soon. Bye-bye.
A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving us with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? That's their loss. I'm going to make it your gain. For the first time ever, you get standard classic MyPillows for wholesale prices, only $14.88. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, I'm going to offer my entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Upgrade to a queen-size MyPillow for just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on the screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever on TV, including my standard size MyPillow, only $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. We have limited quantities at this price, so limit's going to be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.